Frattallone's? Hardware?
Why not?
That's them.
Why
And
not?
garden stores?
Why not Frattallone's?
Don't start that again.
Oh, jeez.
Brings you Garage Logic Podcast number 1043, March 27th, 2023. 75 degrees was the high on this day. That was in 1946. It was 5 degrees in 1921. And after the song, I have some weather information.
Weather information?
Yes.
And now, from the mayor's office, above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Rookie on production, Chris Reavers, director of social media, John Heidt in the newsroom, and occasionally Kenny from the Krabby Coffee Shop. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Souchere.
I have 3 items of weather interest.
Weather related?
At least of interest to me.
Good. You know, I know you're a weather guy, and I like to follow the weather. So, what type of information are you going to bring to us?
I was walking yesterday on the Garage Logic Service Road of Life and made an observation that would be true of only the state of Minnesota. When people are out chopping ice that's about to melt anyway, it's a sign of absolute boredom.
Yep.
Okay, I will not disagree with you.
I will.
Really?
It's a sign of boredom. I saw a woman yesterday. I was going to say something, and then I thought better of it. But she was chopping ice from the street. And A, that you don't have to worry about the street lady. And B, she was discarding the large chunks of ice she was dislodging and throwing them out into the middle of the street.
Oh, I love hitting those.
Yes.
Oh, you do. I was
Yes.
going to say, hey, lady,
Is Jerry Lewis?
is it bad enough that we hit potholes? Now you're throwing these ice chunks out there?
You are turning into a Karen.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah, no doubt.
I didn't say anything, Kenny, because I understood her boredom.
When can I list my bullet points
Go ahead.
on how many ways you're wrong? Number 1, we like to get it dried off. Why not help it out? Get it down to
Give it a little
bare
push.
asphalt and or concrete. Number 2, we need to route the water. We have to give the water a valley or a creek to flow through so when it melts off of your yard and onto your driveway, it doesn't pool at the bottom. You've got to open the flow up. We're like the Army engineer dudes and gals.
Yeah, locks and dams.
Number 3, mind your own business, you busybody.
Well,
It's
maybe
spring
I can,
fever. We got to get outside. We got to do something. We got to breathe in the air, get the vitamin D, blah, blah, blah.
Well, maybe I can redeem myself because on a walk last week, I noticed another woman, and she was poking around in a snowdrift at the side of the street.
Looking for something.
And I said, what are you looking for?
Yeah.
She said, well, I signed up to be a friend of the drains, or
Oh,
Friend of
some group you can join to free up drains.
Sure.
And she said, I'm listening for the water and I can't hear it. So the next thing you know, I'm down on my hands and knees listening along with her,
Lord.
trying to figure out where she should start chopping. And when I went back on another walk, she had found it because it was open. And then I also must admit that, inspired by the boredom of others, when I got done with the walk yesterday, I did a little chopping myself.
I want an FOD badge, friend of the drain
Yeah, she's
badge.
a friend of the drains.
I want to be on that crew.
I have a thought about this too, because Saturday I had the same observation while my wife and I were driving in the car. And I said, why the hell would this guy be out here doing this?
Yeah.
To which my wife replied, he probably just doesn't want to be around his wife.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's why guys have huge lawns.
Look, I can hardly hear Height. I can hardly hear John.
Hello.
Hi. Okay,
Hello?
another weather observation. The local television stations, along with any television station, the closer you get to the tallest buildings in the country, they're complicit in conveying the subtle hysteria of climate change. And the way they're most recently doing it is all of them are really selling hard the fact that we're on a long streak of at least 1 inch of snow cover in the Twin Cities. And I have news for you. That's not a big deal. We've had stretches of snow cover that go back to the beginning of record keeping. There's nothing unusual about snow on the ground in March. It is all a canard. It has nothing to do with anything except that we're having a little of a prolonged winter here, even though you're in meteorological spring, if not cosmic spring. So all of you news channel meteorologists, I think most of us know what you're up to. And to get on the air in a very excited fashion and keep selling the idea that we still have snow cover, it means nothing. It means nothing because it's always been thus throughout time. And then I have a third weather observation. You all thought I forgot, didn't you?
Forgot what?
You all thought I forgot.
What?
I forgot that you forgot.
Ice out!
No!
Ice out!
Oh, jeez.
Oh, here, I'll pull
Not
his mic
already.
down. I'll pull his mic down while we
got
just talk
ice
amongst
out.
ourselves.
It's going to be a long month, boys.
Damn it.
And I neglected to report the first few. I'll catch up right now.
Oh, good.
Minnetonka, of course, had that record ice out in 1878.
Remember it well.
March 11th. Then again in 1910, March 27.
I'm going to go for a walk. I'll be back.
March 18, the year 2000. 1981, March 27. 2012, that wonderful warm spring, March 21st, and 2016 on St. Patrick's Day. And if you switch over to White Bear, because you know I give out ice outs for White Bear, Minnetonka. We had an ice out on White Bear 1987, the 24th of March. The year 2000, the 21st of March. 2012, the 19th of March. 2016, the 16th of March. 2017, the 23rd of March. I will not be remiss in my duties. The ice out material will stay with me in my pile. And I'll do them now until the ice outs conclude.
Are you
all
done?
thought I forgot.
Are you done? I'm back from my walk now.
I'm done.
Okay, good. Then I'll
Done
stick
with
around.
today's. There's
Show-
no ice
show's
out
over.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. There is an ice out today. What's today?
27th, Joe.
March 27th, 2017, Minnetonka, 1910, Minnetonka. And on a White Bear, ice out on the March 27th. No, there isn't one on March 27th. So we had two today, 1910 and whatever the other one I said was.
Got her.
1981 on Minnetonka, 1878 and 1981, March 27th. So there you have it. All right, we've got some serious problems.
What? Good news or bad news? Bad news, it sounds like.
It's terribly dreadful news. First, let me thank all the GLers who I think were being helpful. I don't think they were rubbing it in. They were being helpful. Julia writes, far away from the tallest buildings, here is my gift to the stargazer wannabe. He rarely stays awake past 10:30 in his cookies. This beauty is what we witnessed last night right outside our front door. I knew the mayor would enjoy the phenomenon. You're welcome and keep pushing back. My favorite gents, Julia. Many emailers sent me beautiful pictures of the Northern Lights from late last week.
Yeah.
I went out in the city to look for them, but that was a wasted exercise. I have to get on the NASA. Apparently, you can go to NASA and get on an alert that would inform you, give you a heads up on. And I learned with this past episode, it requires a magnetic storm on the sun.
Okay.
So it's not like they happen every night.
Right.
And I learned, though, from this latest round late last week of the Northern Lights that I wouldn't have had to go very far. They were very phenomenal. They were very intense. I could have gone up to, halfway to Duluth, I bet I would have gotten them.
Oh,
I should have
Lake
done it.
Minnetonka, Plymouth.
About
We were getting amazing photos on Twitter from cities in the outskirts there, in the five-ring suburbs. Yeah.
Really?
The northern suburbs up here, I had friends on Facebook posting pictures.
Okay, well then I have to literally get away from where I live.
It's been a long time, Joe, since I've seen northern lights right above. I mean,
you had to have them in your area.
A lot of you kind of stand there and you look to the north, and the whole from west to east, it's northern lights, but then there's big rays that shoot right over your head. You actually look right up and see them.
Cool.
It's pretty intense.
I've only seen them once in my life. That was in the summer, and I was on Leech Lake in a boat.
Oh, good place.
And it was a great place to see them. It was the only time I've seen them. And I just find it so moving. I really, really need to get more serious about this.
Yeah,
so I'll sign up for that NASA update. And if they say, hey, heads up, Northern Lights, July 10th, I'll get somewhere where I can see them. So thank you very much. Now on to serious, terrible things. This is from Alpha News. I have found them to be reliable, but euphorians probably don't consult them because they report pretty much what the traditional news gatherers do not report. A Bemidji high school teacher fantasizes about secretly injecting children with puberty blockers.
What?
I'm coming to the realization I will never fulfill my lifelong quest of moving to Tennessee to secretly give kids puberty blockers while I do an interpretive drag dance to my favorite Judy Blume novel, says the Post. This is somebody named Gina Marie Bernard, who is a biological male and identifies as a woman, listed as an English teacher at Bemidji. People in Bemidji, you must demand that this evil person be fired. And don't give me your First Amendment BS. That's yelling fire in a crowded theater of children. So don't give me your First Amendment BS. I don't care what this nutcase wants to claim as a protection for these evil thoughts, but she's got to go. And if you're in Bemidji, how can you possibly tolerate the fact that this idiot is a teacher in your high school?
Yeah, no kidding.
High school. Parents told Alpha News the Post was published at the end of February, around the time Tennessee changed its trans laws for minors. Bernard has published several pieces of poetry, including one called Confessional, where he talks about, I can't even read, I don't want to read what he talks about. And
Isn't this a red flag? Isn't this a warning?
Yes.
This person needs...
He says he dreams of a loaded Winchester Ranger 20 gauge.
Well, now we need to get the authorities
involved. Can we do something
involved
about this fool and get rid of this fool? If you people in Bemidji put up for this, you'll get what you deserve.
Wait a minute. In his little manifesto, he talks about a firearm?
Yes.
Where's the ATF?
Well, it's a good question.
Why does the whole world have to adapt to their little world?
Don't adapt to this guy. Get rid of this guy and flag his resume so he can't get hired as a teacher. It's some guy pretending to be a female, and he's got evil intent for children. Why? I don't get it. This is above my pay grade. Why do you not like children? Let them be children. You foul son of a bitch. I would like to get in a fight with this guy.
Yeah.
I've had it.
Right.
I've had it.
Just release.
I'm tired of this. Get rid of this fruitcake.
Get him out of here.
If you people in Bemidji don't do something about this, you'll get what you deserve. Now, closer to home. Yes?
His little bubble is not our culture. His little world. Why does he insist on shoving it down everybody's
I'm going
throats?
to kick this guy. He'd still feel that even though he pretends to be a female.
That deserves this.
I'm going to make a link. I'm going to make a link Now, it would be unfair. It would be unfair. Well, I can do it without it being unfair, though. I was watching the news last night, and 5 Eyewitness News had a piece on the Metropolitan Council is revising plans to have a new bus route between downtown St. Paul and White Bear Lake. And aside from it being unnecessary, why this additional dedicated route is beyond me. Apparently, they were going to tear up perfectly good land to do it, and now they might be changing their mind, and they're going to use White Bear Avenue instead of the Bruce Vento Trail. They were going to use the Bruce Vento Trail to knock down trees and pave it and create a bus path from St. Paul to White Bear Lake with about 26 stops. You could walk from St. Paul to White Bear Lake faster than this boondoggle would get you there.
So less trees, less greenery, more asphalt, and more traffic.
And
okay, all right.
Now, they interviewed a gal, and I'm not going to link to the fellow in Bemidji. That would be unfair to the gal they interviewed. But it's not. You'll understand. They interviewed somebody named Chelsea De Amond, and of course she's looking forward to the day when she can use that bus because she wants to be car free.
Oh.
And she's a big proponent of this new unnecessary form of public transportation. And you get somebody else here named Trista Matas Castillo, chair of the Ramsey County Board of Commissioners, saying we desperately needed more transit, and this does it. So this is a win for everybody. Okay, I don't think it is. Ramsey County is leading the project along with the Met Council. Officials say ridership is higher along White Bear Avenue, making it the best option to reach more people. In other words, when they realized that this boondoggle they initially envisioned wasn't going to attract any people, they moved it to where the people are. Oh God.
Wow.
Honest to God. But getting back to this young gal, I would say she was in her 20s. She had the Elmer Fudd hat on, and she rides a bike, and she desperately wants to be car free. And boy, she was the Minnesotan responsible for the DFL owning the House, the Senate, and the governor's mansion. I'm drawing a rash generalization, I know, but she was
you're right.
a stereotypical picture of what we're facing. And she might be a great gal. No offense against her, but I just found her outlook a bit different.
Which end does she live on, Joe?
That's
White
a good
Bear
question.
or St. Paul?
That's a good question. I believe the St. Paul end. And she goes on to say, I've heard a lot of people worrying about who the bus will bring to our neighborhoods. So maybe she's the White Bear end. That's not a concern I share. She said some neighbors are not in support of the Purple Line because of the construction process that may disrupt traffic. But De Armand believes the end result will be worth it. I understand the resistance. At the same time, I also understand the need for transit, and I'm very supportive of that, she said. Okay, here's the thought I had. There are a lot of, I'm going to make the not very wild assumption that she's single, okay? And I'm going to make the not very wild assumption that she doesn't have children, okay? And if she does, I apologize, but I'm willing to bet she doesn't. She wants to ride her bike. She wants public transit. She doesn't want to own a car. Okay. What that tells me is, what life are you leading? You apparently will never have the need to maybe take a loved one to the doctor. You apparently don't have the need to run children to school. You don't have the need to run to a store and load up supplies for a family. You don't have the need to get kids to a game or an extracurricular activity. You apparently either don't have parents anymore or have parents who are capable of being on their own. They don't need your help. So I detected there a kind of singularity that precludes them not thinking of anybody else.
Right.
And no, I don't mean to be unfair to this particular woman.
No,
For all I know, she works at the Dorothy Day Center. I don't know. I'm merely suggesting that what I took from her remarks was I'm just a cell, one cell in the planet, and I have nothing to do with anybody else. So therefore, I don't need a car. I don't want a car, and I want more public transportation. And I'll keep repeating this. I don't mean to be unfair to this particular woman. I looked for the audio from the Channel 5 story. The audio rook was not there.
Okay.
And if that's unfair to her, again, I apologize. But from her, let's just take her out of it. I just took a larger dynamic that apparently is in play in Minnesota, and that is, in a lot of our legislation, in a lot of our city council action, in both cities, seems to be geared towards people who don't have serious obligations to other people. Is that a fair statement? Is that a reasonable statement?
It seems that way. And in case of our hero here, she seems very self-involved and narcissistic.
Well, again, let's not pick on her. I don't know a thing about her except, I want to be car free. I don't care what I hear about public transit. I'm fully in support of it. Okay, first of all, lady, there's plenty of public transit. Secondly, don't you have anybody that needs you? Don't you have anybody that a car might come in handy on the off chance that you have to go get mom a prescription at the drugstore or something? I just thought, who in the hell are we surrounded by?
Right.
We're surrounded by a lot of people that. And see, the link I was going to make is the guy in Bemidji obviously doesn't care about kids, but it would be too unfair to say that she doesn't care about kids. For all I know, she has kids, or if she doesn't, for all I know, she cares deeply about kids. So that link really isn't a link. It just was the guy in Bemidji got me thinking about her, and so I'll drop it at that. But
where's the article where they interview the guy that has a family and a house and a car or two cars and a job, and he commutes back and forth? When is his? Hello,
it's a great
is he there?
point. You don't see that story.
No, ever. No. What's it take a comedian to tell you to get a job, buy a car, become an American?
Well, I believe this gal works. She just doesn't want to have to.
Then move closer to your job.
Yeah. Let's get back to the kids. I got this from our trustworthy mole. Joe and the gang, this is from the Where Do Our Sensibilities Lie department, and what are people and parents supposed to do about it? All efforts to put age restrictions on the recent gender legislation were rejected by the DFL. Now the Minneapolis Public Schools is hosting a gender resource fair at an elementary school in April. The St. Paul School District lists the event on their Office of Equity Opt Out for Equity calendar, and he linked me to it. The event is called We're Hosting a Gathering for Families and Their Gender Creative Young Ones.
What?
Minneapolis Public Schools presents Gender Resource Fair Thursday, April 13th, 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. We're hosting a gathering for families and their gender creative young ones. Join us for community resources, entertainment, food, games, and more at Loring Elementary School. And then you have the schedule, 4:30 welcome, 4:45 guest speaker Dr. Angela for adults, 4:45 drag story hour for the kids.
All right.
Yeah. Guest speaker is Dr. Angela Cade Gepford from Children's Minnesota, who was a speaker at the DFL news conference on the recent gender legislation. And then from the Office of Equity in St. Paul, we have that event blocked out on the St. Paul Out for Equity calendar. It's a big block there. Get to that gender resource fair over in Minneapolis. And the mole says, I don't want the show to go down a conspiracy rabbit hole. But what are people supposed to think when the DFL-controlled legislature rejected any effort to put age restrictions on gender-affirming care legislation, and the DFL-controlled school districts are having gender resource fair events at an elementary school. What are we to think? I think we're going to hell in a handbasket. I think it's almost over. Somebody's got to step in and rescue these children. Maybe it'll be Mary Morality. Mary Morality, the Hennepin County attorney, won't prosecute a 15-year-old for murdering a woman cold-blooded by shooting her in the head because he's not at full decision-making process yet. Well, Mary Morality must agree then that a 7, 8, 9-year-old isn't possibly capable of wishing to change genders.
It sure would be fun if somebody would ask her that, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm. Well, she ain't coming on with us. The guy in Bemidji is flat out evil, and he's got to go. In fact, I'll remind myself to call Bemidji tomorrow and get an update on that. To call the school.
Wow.
Alpha News has the full story with all the quotes.
Yep.
All right.
I'll call the Bemidji School District. And if you are still employing this
Moron.
person,
Okay.
the citizens of Bemidji must take action. This,
I need somebody to explain to me the need to force that lifestyle on everybody, including children. Like you said, let kids be kids.
the only answer I can come up with is that they want to justify their own decisions by having more and more people around them who make the same mistake. And by mistake, I mean you have a mental problem. There's two genders, male and female. If you're pretending you're another one, you've got an issue.
Unless you're Milton Berle.
Yeah. He can be whatever he wants to be.
And the thing, it might be worth talking about the difference between a drag star, a drag queen star, and a transsexual person. A lot of the drag people that I've been in contact with and have met are dudes, and they live their lives as dudes. And then they put on the costume and they go on stage and they do these drag show things.
That's fine with me. I just don't want them in the school.
I've never, ever had a problem with that, and that's fine. And, have your fun. I don't understand the trans lifestyle need to push their lifestyle on everybody else. That's where I'm so confused.
Let me amend my trans comments in terms of it being an issue. Go ahead and be trans. I don't care.
Yeah, same with that. I don't know anybody that cares about that.
But leave kids alone, period.
Yeah.
Then we have then we're all cool. If you be trans and leave little Betty and Johnny alone in the first grade. They have no need for you to impose upon them your decision-making. And if we use Mary Morality's guideline, you shouldn't make the trans decision until you're 25.
Especially because what do kids do when they're in school if you're different? By nature.
Oh, my God, you get crucified.
You're going to get picked on.
Even if you have a different name, a weird name.
If your mom and dad sign off and say, okay, we want you to... It doesn't matter. Kids in school are ruthless in grade school, which is another reason why that should be put off to when you're older.
And this is in a state where we are governed by a governor who, in the aftermath of stealing the $18 billion surplus... has said, we compromised to reach this agreement, and we believe us expanding the government by another $18 billion a year reflects Minnesota's values. And no, it doesn't. First of all, it's probably a Minnesota value, or it used to be anyway, to save for a rainy day, right?
Yep.
Save a few bucks for a rainy day.
100%.
And then you want Minnesota values, Tim? Your state is a shambles. Your state is a mess, particularly in the. We had 6 juveniles shooting 50-plus rounds in a Brooklyn Center parking lot last night.
Yeah.
We have a boy, 11, being treated for life-threatening injuries after a crash involving a stolen Hyundai. Well, good thing it was a Hyundai, because now you have not only a Hyundai to blame, but it was crashed traveling at a high rate of speed because, unfortunately, the kids who steal these cars do not know how to drive. And it hit a pole, a tree. So we have a pole to blame, a tree, a sign, and a fence.
Got to get rid of those fences.
And the car.
Got to get rid of those
because
fences.
we have upholding Minnesota's values an attorney general who blames a car for being stolen, not the person who steals it. Oh, we have something else to blame, a street light. So the kid who didn't know how to drive also hit a street light, and for some reason, an 11-year-old occupant of the stolen car was seriously injured. And but these are our values. I went through it the other day. You know, do you feel safer? Do you feel that your bureaucratic agencies are in top form? On and on and on and on.
I feel like the emperor has no clothes.
Mm-hmm.
We're not
and now
saying what we see.
You've got a DFL-controlled political process that apparently is very accepting of children, and a DFL-controlled education process that's very accepting of children exposed to gender dynamics that, in my estimation, are occurring for them at an age that it is not correct for them. It's too early.
Have we ever compiled a full list? And I'm starting right now. I want to know every single thing on the safe haven list. You can come to Minnesota to kill a baby. Mm-hmm. You can come to Minnesota to run away from your parents so you can have a sex change.
You can come to Minnesota and shoot a woman in the head if you're 15, and you'll get some probation.
So criminals, come on in, safe haven. What about illegal immigrants? Are we safe haven?
Not only welcoming, but you'll get a driver's license.
Right.
Yeah. So that's 4 now. Mm-hmm. I bet you we could hit a dozen if we really looked into it.
Well, I have my list here. Let me see if I can find it.
Abortions, sex change.
Oh, you want to commit food fraud? This is a hell of a place.
Yeah, you can get away with it.
Yeah.
You can buy your own.
Because the agencies in charge of it don't have a clue what's going on.
This is going to be a lot of writing. I should have typed it.
If you want to get free transportation, come to the Metro, because there's no charge for riding public transit.
Now, that's not a policy now. I'm just talking about where the governor has shot his mouth off.
Well, that'd be a driver's license for everybody, and safe haven for whatever gender transitioning you wish to engage in.
And that the book thing we got into last week with Walz and DeSantis. How did that turn out?
I believe you can have any book you want in a Minnesota school. I think this Bemidji thing's really. Is somebody going to go find this guy and say you're fired?
Boy, I hope so. That would be a pushback in the right direction.
Where's the ATF putting him in jail?
Yeah.
I still haven't found that story. You distracted me.
A little kid. If a kid wrote a poem about a gun, that kid would be under surveillance.
Right.
Or more accurately, probably would not be, and then unfortunately grow up to commit some atrocity with the gun.
What was his quote about going to, what state was it, Mississippi?
Tennessee,
so he could
inject kids with puberty blockers.
Okay, now what if somebody had said the opposite? I can't wait to go to Minnesota to inject kids with hormone boosters so 12-year-old boys will look, or give them steroids so 12-year-old boys will look like, that's how ludicrous this is. You can't even make something up that's the opposite.
If I may, and boy, I'm going to get in trouble for this.
No, go.
Hey, Johnny, run.
This idiot should be fired. I agree immediately. But if you look at the Facebook post and the incidents of what's going on around it, it's obviously written as sarcasm because Tennessee passed this law, right?
Yeah.
So he/she, whatever, I don't know, he, I guess, says, me coming to the realization I'll never fulfill my lifelong quest of moving to Tennessee to secretly inject 11-year-olds with hormone blockers while I do an interpretive drag dance to my favorite Judy Blume novel.
Okay. Yeah. I see the sarcasm there.
He's making light of the Tennessee people.
Correct. Yeah. Well, yeah, and people in general who think, if you're whatever, that you're going to do all three of those things.
Okay, so is this? I have an analogy to throw at you, John, and maybe I'm off base here. What if I went into an airport and I was sitting in a lounge and I said, "Boy, I sure would like to bomb the living H out of this." You know what I mean? You start making bomb references in an airport. Yeah. The government, you're hauled out of there within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Even though I said it in jest and,
Well, John, if I'm going to let his face post go as satire, I'm getting him for his poems.
Yeah, well, I agree. A teacher should not be putting any, I don't care, trans or normal or whatever. Well, I shouldn't say normal. See, I just made but anyway, no teacher should be posting that kind of thing on their Facebook page.
I mean, he writes about killing a friend's cat, writing a letter to serial killers, tasting the barrel of a loaded Winchester Ranger 20 gauge. Yeah.
I read the poem. It's
He's no Robert Service, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. No, I fire him. I don't care.
I don't think there's any way, you keep him as a teacher.
And then if you have a kid in a public school and you're a parent who is looking forward to the Gender Resource Fair at Loring Elementary School Thursday, April 13th, I guess it's not my business that you choose to go that road. I guess that wouldn't be my business, right? If you want to take your 11-year-old to Loring Park School or whatever it's called, what's it called? Loring Elementary School on Thursday, April 13th, and listen to the guest speaker, and then stay for the drag story hour, and then ask more questions about becoming a girl or a boy. I guess that's the way you want to go. That's how you roll. So I guess that wouldn't be my problem. I'm not being facetious. I would have to stay out of it, I guess.
Yeah.
There's a picture of the speaker, Dr. Angela. Dr. Angela Cade Gepford. I don't know if that means medical doctor or what. Look up Children's Minnesota. That's where Dr. Angela Cade Gepford is from. Children's _S Minnesota. That must be the name of some activist group. And she spoke at the DFL news conference on the recent gender legislation, which has no age limits. Children's Minnesota. Children's do learn.
Nationally ranked nonprofit acute care children's hospital system? That can't be that, right?
That Children's that's what came up for me as
Children's Hospital, yeah.
And who was tell me the name of the person again?
Angela.
Okay, I'm going to tag
Cade, Kade, Gepford, Goepferd. Maybe the hospitals are committed to gender-affirming care, regardless of age.
Dr. Angela Gepford, MD, Pediatrics. She's the Chief Education Officer and past Chief of Staff for Children's Minnesota.
So she's a big league doctor.
Yes, I think we're looking at Pat on Saturday Night Live.
Well, okay.
You could fill that role.
Mm-hmm. But I wonder what it is she said at the DFL news conference. What is it she said that the people putting together the Gender Resource Fair would find her an agreeable guest. I take it she's in favor of kids making their transitions.
She's been at the Children's for the last 16 years. She is seen as a leader in the LGBT community, is driving equitable care for LGBT youth, particularly transgender and gender diverse youth, and she is a sought-after speaker and trainer on these topics.
All right. Well, God bless her. I mean, she's not going to let a little kid be hurt, right? I mean, she's a doctor.
Right.
She's
Took the
providing.
oath.
She's provided probably a lot of care to trans kids. So maybe we shouldn't say she's in favor of there being trans kids. Maybe what she has arrived at is the belief that we have trans kids, and I sure as hell am going to take care of them.
Okay.
Although she's trans herself. I say that with some confidence looking at her picture. Well, maybe not. Maybe she's not trans. Maybe she's...
I'm trying to see. I don't see anything in her.
Provider
androgynous.
gender is female. I don't know.
Pardon, John?
Provider gender is listed as female on the doctor's website.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what she is.
Her gender.
Yeah.
So
Maybe she's just a female who's very committed to
Androgyny.
her oath.
It's time for androgyny. It's just Pat.
Well,
What are you going to do?
I'm not going to do a spot because they don't have one. So let's take a break.
Okay, we'll just take a break and come right back with more.
Yeah.
Garage Logic.
God, we have done.
He likes the sound of smooth jazz. Here's Jazzy Souchere.
I loved using it. I love using it. I love talking about it. I just put a sled to bed yesterday and used Seafoam in the tank. And that's because it works fast. It's easy to use, cleans, lubricates the engine so it runs better, lasts longer. Rough Rydle.
Yeah,
Rough Rydle.
Hit it, baby.
It prevents rough rydle, loss of power, sluggishness, all of that. It's usually caused by a dirty fuel system. Seafoam takes care of that and also works really well in oil. This heavy oil residue and deposits, it forms naturally over the years, and it can restrict the oil flow. And what Seafoam does, you just dump it right into the crankcase. It reliquefies these residues and the deposits, and then they're drained away. Next oil change. It's fantastic. We can find it everywhere, including some places you wouldn't think it would be. It's a wonderful product in a world of bad gas. It's my favorite, Seafoam.
Let's get to John Heidt because unfortunately there's some more dreadful breaking news.
Oh, hang on. Let me pull stuff up here. I was unprepared.
That's all right.
The breaking news that Joe is talking about, let's hit that now. We have some new info on this too, since we talked off air about it. 3 children and 3 adults were killed in a shooting at a private Christian grade school in Nashville on Monday. The female shooter also died after being shot by police. The violence occurred at the Covenant School, a Presbyterian school for about 200 students from preschool through grade 6. And police said the shooter appeared to be in her teens and was armed with 2 assault-type rifles and a pistol. The Nashville victims were pronounced dead upon arrival at the Monroe Carroll Jr. Children's Hospital. The Covenant School was founded as a ministry of Covenant Presbyterian Church in 2001, according to the school's website. It's located in the affluent Green Hill neighborhood, just south of downtown Nashville, situated close to the city's top universities and home to the famed Bluebird Cafe, a beloved spot for Nashville musicians and songwriters. No word on who the adults were that were killed, and no more information on the shooter.
It's unusual to have a female shooter, isn't it?
Yeah, a teen female, or appeared to be a teen anyway. So,
And that's a private school.
Yep.
Correct.
Oh, we need cops in every single school, anywhere the children gather.
Yep.
Officials at Minneapolis-St. Paul International say the airport has seen a pandemic-era record number of travelers this month. According to a spokesperson for the Metropolitan Airports Commission, which operates MSP, this month has produced the 5 busiest travel days at MSP since February 2020, when the pandemic began. The busiest days saw almost 42,000 people go through security checkpoints each day, which is about 9% higher than the peak travel day during spring break last year, according to officials. Authorities are still investigating a fatal crash on Highway 62 in Minneapolis. According to an incident report from the Minnesota State Patrol, a Chevy Silverado hauling a trailer was headed east on the highway when it entered a ditch and then collided with the underpart of the bridge at 34th Avenue. There were 2 people in the Silverado, according to a press release from the authorities this morning. The driver of the vehicle is in critical condition. The passenger in the vehicle killed in the crash. A fire truck and a state patrol squad vehicle then collided in an area west of the crash. Minnesota State Patrol said that crash happened in the westbound lanes of Highway 62 at 34th Avenue. Both the trooper and the driver of the fire truck sustained minor injuries. Emergency lights were reportedly activated for both vehicles when the crash happened. The investigation into the accident is continuing.
This truck that was pulling the trailer went behind the guardrails and hit that abutment thing, and all of it was unidentifiable. I had no idea what I was looking at except just 100% carnage. It was really horrible.
Did anyone see the video of the Kia on an LA freeway that was hit by a wheel that came loose from an adjacent truck?
Yeah, the pickup truck.
And the Kia went about 50 feet in the air and flipped over.
Yeah, I did see that. That was spooky.
And I don't think anybody died.
I didn't hear any fatalities listed there.
Wow. Joe, you mentioned this earlier. An 11-year-old boy believed to be a passenger in a stolen car was taken to the hospital for life-threatening injuries after a crash just before 11 last night in Minneapolis. Minneapolis police said their officers responded to a 2-vehicle injury crash near the intersection of 42nd and Penn Avenues North. Investigators think the stolen Hyundai was traveling at a high rate of speed when it left the roadway, hit a pole, a tree, a sign, a fence, an occupied passenger vehicle, another pole, and a street light.
2 poles to blame then.
2
Wow.
poles, yeah. The driver and sole occupant of the other vehicle were evaluated for apparent minor injuries, according to police. Police say they're investigating who else was inside the stolen Hyundai at the time of the crash.
That's in Camden, 42nd, and what? Penn, did you say?
Let's see, 42nd and Penn Avenues North.
Yeah, okay.
Hospital staff members treating 6 people for non-life-threatening injuries after a shooting last night in Brooklyn Center. Hennepin County Sheriff DeWanna Witt says that some of those who were shot were juveniles. Brooklyn Park officers responded to a shots fired call about 6:45 at the frontage road near the 5600 block of Brooklyn Boulevard. Officers found 50 or more casings from weapons of 3 different calibers, police say, but no victims were in the area. Eventually, though, 6 people with non-life-threatening gunshot injuries showed up at the same hospital. Authorities say they are investigating.
What a coincidence.
Wayzata played Park Center for the Class 4A basketball title Saturday night.
Yep.
And I guess there was threats of violence at Target Center. That did not occur.
Oh, no, it did on Saturday night.
Oh, it did occur?
Yeah, big fight.
Okay.
Yep.
And I don't know, was that related to it was in the Target Center.
Yep.
The police were in the concourse, and that was quite a socioeconomic spectrum there, Wayzata playing Park Center.
Yes.
So did you mention this fight? It was basically Bass Lake Road and Brooklyn Boulevard, right?
What are you talking about?
The one John talked about with the
gun
shooting.
shells fired. I was talking about an incident Saturday night.
There's so many, right? But last night's was a planned fight. Like they were getting together to rumble.
Oh, okay.
Wow, West Side Story, huh?
Yeah, and they
Rumble.
didn't find any victims at the scene. I think you said that, right? But then they started showing up randomly at hospitals.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Bass Lake Road and Brooklyn Boulevard, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Boy, that's right out in the open, too. I mean,
Yeah, that's some Girl Scout place or something.
right in front of it. Yeah, Girl Scout
That's
building.
a lot of gunplay. 50 shells.
Mm-hmm. Xcel Energy is holding its second public meeting tonight to address the leaks of radioactive water at their Monticello nuclear plant. That meeting will run from 5 to 8 at the Monticello Community Center. The first leak happened in mid-November. It was just recently made public, and then a second leak was reported last Thursday. Xcel has maintained the public is not at risk, and state agencies say they have found no evidence to suggest otherwise. Xcel began powering down the plant late last week so they could replace the pipe causing the leaks.
I think Excel's in a no-win situation there. They waited too long to talk about this. Yeah. If they had gotten right out in front of it right off the bat, I think they would be found to be more credible. But they waited and waited. And I'm going to choose to believe that the public's not in danger, but they can't win. The public will think they're in danger because Xcel waited so long.
I want notice right away.
I know you want to get your guns, get in your truck, and leave.
Come on, man. I've got this whole bug out thing planned out. It was a prime opportunity wasted. By the way, 56 is a couple of blocks south of Bass Lake Road. I was wrong.
Former Hennepin County Sheriff Dave Hutchinson, who's now a sergeant with the Metro Transit Police Department, has collected more than $120,000 while on paid leave over the past 10 months, according to payroll info from the two agencies. Hutchinson pleaded guilty to misdemeanor DWI back in December 2021. 5 months later, he began paid leave from the sheriff's office. Hennepin County records show he was paid $100,000 from mid-May 2022 through the end of his elected term in December 2022. And in January 2023, he notified Metro Transit he intended to go back to his old job as a Metro Transit police sergeant, which is allowed under a state law that permits elected officials to go back to their previous public sector jobs if they took unpaid leave.
They really take care of their own, don't they?
Wow. Yes. They really do. Metro Transit placed Hutchinson on paid leave immediately after he notified the agency of his intention to return. A Metro Transit spokesperson confirmed Hutchinson was on paid leave until an internal investigation into his conduct as sheriff is finished. So,
boy,
is he sober?
A question of character comes into play here.
Is he sober these days?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Yeah. Wow. A 26-year-old Amazon delivery driver was arrested Saturday after he allegedly punched a customer in St. Paul.
Who can blame him?
I was going to say, this guy's worn out.
Everybody in my house said the same thing.
Yeah.
Officers were called to a home on Randolph Avenue on a report of an assault around 1 p.m. where they found a 51-year-old man with facial injuries. According to the St. Paul Police Department, the Amazon driver delivered a package to the man's home. The man was upset about a missing package, and that turned into an altercation between the two. The delivery driver punched the man in the face, then tried to leave in his vehicle. The man tried to stop him by jumping on the hood of the vehicle. The driver pulled out anyway. The man fell off the hood a short distance later. Luckily, he was not run over, according to police. The man was brought to Regions Hospital by medics, where it was determined he has a possible skull fracture and facial injuries. Officers arrested the delivery driver at the Eagan Amazon Distribution Center with help from Eagan Police. He'll be booked into the Ramsey County Jail on suspicion of aggravated assault.
Randolph Avenue, couldn't it have been something they could have just settled at Carboni's?
The CP wants to leave food for him. She's going to put food out.
For the
like
Amazon
Santa,
guy?
like cookies and milk and cookies and stuff?
That's how often they're showing up.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're part of the family, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, Papa Joe, I got another bag for you.
I pull water out of the garage fridge for him if I'm outside.
Yeah, she wants to leave water and food.
Not like sauerbraten.
No, not a meal.
Not a meal. Okay, got it.
Sauerbraten.
She makes a killer sauerbraten.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
She does.
Local concert announcements. Eric Clapton will be playing here for the first time in 14 years.
I got to go because I've never seen him.
I've seen him 3 times, I believe.
Yeah, I got to make it.
The 3-time Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee will be joined by Texas blues guitar hero Jimmy Vaughn at the Thursday night gig in St. Paul. It's one of only a handful of dates he's playing in the U.S., or that's been announced so far anyway. Tickets go on sale Friday at 10. The 77-year-old Clapton was something of a regular at Xcel Energy Center after the Hockey Arena's 2000 opening. He played there 4 times from 2001 to 2009. The last of those shows was with his old Blind Faith bandmate Steve Woodward as a tour partner. Clapton will be joined on tour by another Texas guitar hero as part of the band, Doyle Bromhall II. They'll be in the band. Other members of the band will include Paul Carrick, He was with Mike and the Mechanics and Ace back in the 70s and 80s. And Chris Stainton, who was a longtime keyboardist for Joe Cocker. He'll be part of Clapton's band here.
He has a longtime friend here, a doctor who shall go unnamed, who was very instrumental in helping Eric live.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah.
John,
He was a Hazelden resident, of course, where he took the cure.
Jimmy Vaughn, Fabulous Thunderbirds, is that correct?
Correct. Yes. Yes.
I wonder
Stevie
who's
Ray's
drumming for
brother.
him. Maybe they're looking for someone that I could.
It has been
Call
Steve
or-
Gadd.
Oh.
Steve Gadd, who's
you offering?
about as good,
I'm
about as
offering.
good as it gets. I think Steve will probably trump you on this.
He
one,
might be
Joe.
better
Sorry.
than me.
I
Yeah.
think
John,
so.
have we ever gotten a fight over that Fabulous Thunderbird song, Tough Enough? That song stinks.
No,
I
I
love
like
it.
that.
I love that.
Yeah,
song.
that's a steamer.
I'm with
I
John.
actually love that album, to be truthful.
Huey.
Anyway, Queen is launching another tour celebrating Freddie Mercury's legacy, including a return to XL on October 27th. Queen's co-founding guitarist Brian May and drummer Roger Taylor again will be joined by Adam Lambert in St. Paul and 13 other cities.
Yeah,
on their
no,
fall North
this doesn't
American
work.
tour.
This is like
Tickets.
Steely Dan touring without Steely.
So,
What about
you know
the
what?
reclusive bass player?
I don't have any idea about the bass player. I'm angry at Kenny now, so
Doesn't take much, does it?
it really doesn't. No. Now, on air show meeting here, do we take a break in the news today?
I think we
Some
certainly
Up
should
to the
do
a
that.
rookie.
commercial?
He's running the show.
I think we should do that, Johnny.
Let's do that.
Come
Thank
back
you.
with some more news.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
You'll learn more here by accident than elsewhere by design. Here's Joe Souchere.
Pretty safe to say that the four of us here are fairly obsessive about our lawns. If you want the best lawn on the block, go with professionalturf.com. Really easy. You never worry about your lawn. They've been at it since '82, and they've got service techs that they know their ass. You know what I'm saying? They know your lawn better than you do. Put your care in these guys, and you'll have the greenest lawn in the neighborhood. What they do is they make your lawn their problem. So when weeds occur between treatments, don't even worry about it. They're going to take care of it. And what I love is this: if you've never been with ProTurf before, they do these free in-personal lawn care analysis, and they walk your lawn. They come out and they look at the situation. They judge every inch of your lawn, and then they put together a program just for you. A lot of places just give you a phone estimate and go with that, and they've never even seen your place. If you want the most beautiful, healthy lawn on the block, go with the pros at professionalturf.com.
Thank you, Kenny. More news, and this news has been brought to you by ProfessionalTurf.com. A devastating weekend weather-wise down south. Over the weekend, at least 27 tornadoes reported across 5 states: Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee. At least 25 people died in Mississippi, where one long track twister left a trail of destruction for 59 miles. There was at least one storm-related death in Alabama, where officials said a man succumbed to his injuries after being rescued by a first responder. President Biden approving disaster relief on Sunday for Mississippi. The latest forecast shows the same storm system will linger in the southeast, with damaging winds today, large hail, and an isolated tornado threat. Powerful partner in Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government says the country's proposed judicial overhaul has been delayed for at least several weeks. National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir says he agreed to a delay in the legislation till Parliament reconvenes for its summer session on April 30th. He said that break would give time for the government to seek a compromise with political opposition. Tens of thousands of Israelis demonstrated outside Parliament, and workers launched a nationwide strike today in a dramatic escalation of the mass protest movement aimed at halting the overhaul. The chaos shut down much of the country, threatened to paralyze the economy in Israel. Departing flights from the main international airport were grounded. Large mall chains and universities closed their doors. Diplomats walked off the job at foreign missions, and local governments were expected to close preschools and cut other services. The plan, driven by Netanyahu, is on trial for corruption and his allies in Israel's most right-wing government ever, has plunged Israel into one of the worst domestic crises it's ever seen. It sparked sustained protests that have galvanized nearly all sectors of society, including, oddly enough, the military, where reservists have increasingly said publicly they will not serve a country that is veering toward autocracy.
Did you see where Trump, who should be in a mental institution, did you see where he had a rally over the weekend in Waco?
Yeah.
And Ted Nugent was there.
Yeah.
Where did we get the idea that Zelensky's gay, and what does that have to do with anything?
That's Ted, Ted's,
well, no, but they're all the true dons are throwing that around. What
Again,
what has that got to? Well, I don't think he is.
Why does that make a difference?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Why? But they're using that now. Why are we sending American money to this guy? And they apparently the Waco crowd did not want us spending any money in Ukraine.
Well,
Zelensky might have some feminine qualities, but I don't think he's overly
I don't think
gay.
so.
Huh? He was an actor.
A lovely wife.
You got kids and the whole deal. I realize that doesn't mean anything, but never mind.
It's irrelevant.
I just don't know why this guy is not in a rubber room someplace.
Give it some time. Give it some time, Joe.
God almighty.
Somewhat related to that,
Is he still going to be arrested on Tuesday?
I don't know. He's looking forward to it.
Fascinating story, somewhat related to all of this.
And don't email me, you people. If you find something charitable about Trump, there's something wrong with you. He's not a.
That pretty much seals the deal there.
I don't think we need to go that far,
Well, he's
Joe.
not a good human being. He's a foul creature.
Well, he's doing his best to destroy the country right now.
Right.
And thank you. I'll take all the emails for that one, okay?
But
I mean,
telling people there's something wrong with
No,
him
he's nuts. He should be in a rubber room.
if they support him.
I'm never getting out of here. I'm nuts.
I'm nuts.
Anyway, sort of related to all of this. Well, I think a lot related, but just my opinion. Some fascinating finds in a new Wall Street Journal NORC poll. Mm-hmm. The survey finds the country sharply divided by political party over social trends, such as the push for racial diversity in businesses and the use of gender-neutral pronouns. Other divides in the poll, some 38% of respondents said patriotism was very important to them. 39% said religion important. The reason that's weird, the last journal poll on all this in 1998, which would be 25 years ago, 70% deemed patriotism to be important, 62% said so of religion. Tolerance for others, deemed important by 80% of Americans as recently as 4 years ago, has fallen to 58% since then. Bill McInturf, a pollster who worked on the previous journal survey that measured the attitudes, said that the differences are so dramatic it paints a new and surprising portrait of a changing America.
Yeah, one that's failing.
He said that perhaps the toll of our political division, COVID, and the latest economic confidence in decades is having a startling effect on core values. A number of events have shaken and in some ways fractured the nation, according to the journal. That includes all the way back to 2001, September 11th, the financial crisis of 2008, an economic downturn, and the rise of former President Donald Trump. The only priority the journal tested that has grown in importance in the past quarter century is money, which was cited as very important by 43% in the new survey, up from 31% in 1998. Thoughts about from some of those who were polled. Kevin Williams is a commercial and residential painter in Bend, Oregon. He's 33 years old. He said he thought that patriotism is declining as a civic value in tandem with rising individualism, a sense of entitlement among many people, and a decline in community involvement. To Janet Boyer, a former Pentecostal minister who lives in Cumberland Township, Pennsylvania, she says patriotism has taken on a political sheen and is no longer important to her for that reason. She said, quote, "For me, patriotism has turned into right-wing nationalism." Political divisiveness also weighs on her. She said back in the day, Republicans, Democrats had a sense of deference to one another. They didn't act like they were in a schoolyard trying to be vengeful and reactive. The survey found sharp differences by political party on social issues that have gained a prominence, like diversity and gender identification. Margin of error, plus or minus 4.1 percentage points on that poll.
So Trumpers, don't get me wrong. I think Biden should be in a home, too.
So in that last story, though, she pretty much placing all blame on the right. Is that what I took away?
The second woman?
Yeah.
Yeah, but not
Yeah.
the first guy, obviously. But I think that right there illustrates everything that's going on.
The decline of moral and ethical integrity is very pervasive. It's winning. You're seeing it in the poll results.
Where does all that start in the last 10 years? Just saying.
Oh,
I know you
It
are.
starts at the top of the country.
Yeah.
I know you don't want to say anything else. I know. I
But
understand.
he
I've
was
already blown up
elected.
the waterfront.
He was.
Already done it.
I don't need to remind you guys. He was elected because the country and the voters were fed up with what was going on. They were fed
so-
up, and they finally found in him the voice that they thought was going to change
But
things
if we're
for him.
talking about moral integrity, Kenny, in the run up to his being elected, we had a videotape talking about him grabbing women by their personal parts. Well, where's the moral invective there?
Well,
Yeah.
what, I think I include myself in this group. We were fooled. The wool was pulled over our eyes because I thought he was going to rattle the cage and go away. That's what I thought he was going to do. 4
Drain
years.
the swamp.
And then boom, he was going to go back because he didn't want to be tasked with all this political gamesmanship.
I took away, John, what I took away
this conversation.
before you go, John. What I took away, oh, now I lost it, was that he was going to put government in the hands of people again.
yes.
That's what attracted him to me in the first election.
You didn't know that he intended to become a mentally ill, evil dictator.
But if you remember who he ran against?
No.
Hillary.
Clinton.
Oh, Hillary. Yeah, Hillary.
And I remember turning off my phone and putting it on airplane mode because when I woke up the next day, I didn't want either one. I did.
Yeah,
It was just so bleak.
I've been consistent from day one. I'm politically lonely. There is no one.
Well, the fact that Hillary did not have a concession speech written just shows you her arrogance.
I didn't want the Clinton mafia in there for another 4 years.
Wait a minute. Arrogance, Rook?
Yeah. Oh,
You want to talk arrogance?
he equals it as well. He equals it as well. I don't dispute that. I'm admitting to the public, I got played. I was played.
Well, the people in New York did warn us. The people who grew up with him, who lived with him, who were there with him, they said, "Don't do this. Don't do this. You'll be sorry."
Something happened when he was about 7 or 8. Something happened in the backyard or out in the woods. Something happened.
I remember before he was elected talking to someone in this building about Trump, and he said he's not a good guy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Was it me? Oh, sorry.
No, it was not you. I knew that already. Yeah.
Let's see. What else? Let's move to something fun here, huh? Well, I didn't. Did you guys know? All right. Let me just read. You see the Mississippi meteorologist who got fired? Did you guys see this?
He got fired?
It's a she. No, not the guy you're thinking.
Oh, I'm
of.
thinking
This
the
is
guy
somebody
who
else.
prayed got fired? No.
No, that was an incredibly moving.
It really
piece of
was.
video.
The
Incredibly
meteorologist
moving.
in Mississippi who saw that tornado coming and said, Jesus, help these people.
Yeah.
Got fired?
No, he didn't. I
no,
thought that's
he
what John was
didn't.
referring to.
Wow.
That's how rumors
That's how
start.
start. Yeah.
Jeez. Anyway, this is a
Now,
this
tell
is
me about the guy in
a
the tornado that
This is a-
died.
different meteorologist, not the fellow who prayed on the air. And it's a she. Her name is Barbie Bassett. She's apparently been fired by WLBT during a recent morning broadcast. She used a phrase that's commonly used by Snoop Dogg. What she didn't realize, and I didn't realize, I don't know if you guys realize this, part of it is part of a racial slur.
I don't know. I can't help you. I don't know what she said.
That she said, faux shizzle, my.
Jizzle?
Dizzle?
My
No,
grizzles.
It starts with an N and rhymes with shizzle, but apparently that is the
That is?
equivalent of saying the N word,
Shizzle?
which I did not know.
No, nizzle.
Nizzle?
Well, I guess
Really?
you guys just said it. Yeah.
Boy, am I a
Shizzle,
rube.
my nizzle?
Snoop always says that, right?
I don't know that.
And it means for sure, my.
Oh.
My homie?
Yeah, well,
Oh,
sure
I am so Let me get these turnips out of my pocket.
me too. I'm the
Wow.
same way. I read that this morning.
It means for sure what?
My blank N-word.
Let me make it as white as
put it in a
possible.
sentence, Kenny.
You correct, my dear fellow.
Mm-hmm.
that is what it means.
Replace dear
So if
fellow.
I say for shizzle my nizzle, that means you're correct.
You're saying, but nizzle is the N word.
I didn't
No, it's
know
not.
that.
I
The
didn't
N word
know
is
that
the
either.
N word.
So
Snoop Dogg can't just start making up words and say that means the N word. I reject that. The word nizzle just rhymes with sizzle.
My God, we are the biggest crackers in the whole
white
wide
am
world.
we
Wow.
got 4 people here who did not know this at 9 this morning because I didn't learn until I read
I
it.
thought I
reject
was-
it, though. I reject it.
I thought maybe
Snoop
I had a
can't be making
little
up
bit of
words.
hip
Can't
in
make
me, but I have no hip.
What is these
Wow.
words? What is
Anyway,
these
What
words?
animals is these?
So are we in trouble now because we
No,
didn't know
because
this?
that-
I didn't say it.
If you
so.
say the real N word, then you're okay.
Well,
then you're
I
in
don't
trouble.
think she should get fired.
She got fired.
Well, let's do a poll among all crackers. I
don't
bet
think
you
she should've
90%
got-
have no idea.
So somebody must have said, "We're having a beautiful day," and she said, "Shizzle my nizzle."
It had something to do with I don't remember the story, but it was crosstalk, blah blah.
Was
blah.
she a
And
Caucasian meteorologist?
the former Miss.
I couldn't tell.
Mississippi, I think.
That is the best I can give you.
Yeah.
I
Yes,
couldn't.
she
I
is.
tried to figure that out myself.
Well, for shizzle my nizzle.
She should be very, very quiet.
I don't want to say anything that sounds like nizzle.
Huh.
Radio.
Oh, God, I feel better though. I thought maybe it was just me that I'm
No, man.
completely out of touch, but apparently not. Well, I am out of touch.
You hauling
but
oats?
You jive
What are you
turkey.
hauling oats over there?
that's- Yeah, out of touch. And then
Hey,
giving
wait a
us,
minute. I was just
I'm
watching
sorry.
an
Yeah.
episode of Sanford Son, and who's that old battle axe that he's always after? What's her name?
Elizabeth.
No, Elizabeth's wife is up in
that's
heaven.
the passed away wife.
The one with her purse like this.
Yeah,
and
the
does this all the time.
sister-in-law. She used the N-word
Really?
on TV.
I don't believe it.
I didn't either. I was stunned. I was like this, Joe.
Were you agog?
I was a gug.
Oh, yeah.
His mouth was agape.
Be about the same era that Chevy Chase used it, give or take.
Yeah.
In what?
Oh,
in
with,
Saturday Night Live?
The Richard Pryor Chevy Chase bit
Dead hunky.
where they're
That
calling
was a
each other's
funny bit.
names. Oh, it's hysterical. Hysterical. You want another one or
One more.
I
One
can go
more,
on
Johnny.
all day
Keep-
if you'd like.
Oh, look
Giving
at the
us-
time. Never mind. You're done, John. We'll be right
Oh.
back.
Thanks,
Oh,
Johnny.
wow. Look at what time it
See
is.
ya. Holy moly.
Hey, Jailers, it's Reavers here with just a simple question for you. Are you feeling like it's harder to get in shape and maybe even stay in shape? Well, guess what? I've got something for you. We've got a brand new sponsor to the Garage Logic podcast, Nugenics Total T. And guess what? They're offering a complimentary bottle when you text 231-231 and enter the keyword garage. I got to tell you, I started taking this a couple of weeks ago. My goodness, does it work. I'm in my 40s now, but I want to stay active, especially with 2 young kids. And of course, she's looking at me and getting tired of the dad bod feeling that I have. I'm telling you what, try Nugenics Total T. For some time now, I've been feeling a little less like my old self, and I haven't had as much time to work out, but I wanted the energy and the body that I once had. And I'm telling you, Nugenics Total T really helped me feel revived. Hey, it's not your fault. As you age, your body loses free testosterone, the man hormone, It happens to every guy, and it can make it more difficult to stay in shape and be energetic and active. Remember when winning felt easy? Well, that's because when you were younger, you were at the peak of your testosterone production. What some have called the winner's hormone or the man hormone, wouldn't it be nice to get that winner's edge again and that old swagger back in your step? If you want more energy to counter the negative physical effects of aging, Nugenics Total T Testosterone Booster with Testofen will help you turn back the clock. It's going to re-energize your workouts, and it's going to get you better results at the gym and help you look and feel like the man you really want to be. So try it right now. Get a complimentary bottle of Nugenics Total T when you text 231-231 and enter the keyword garage. Text now and get a bottle of Nugenics Thermal, their most powerful fat incinerator ever, with key ingredients to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text 231-231 231-231 and enter the keyword garage. That's 231-231 and make sure you enter the keyword garage.
He's as smooth as silk. He's Kenny Olson.
A Toro zero-turn mower from Tri-State Bobcat. It'll make that lawn look amazing. No more turning laborious, lame laps. Just blast back and forth and make a really cool pattern on your lawn. And at the same time, drastically cut your mowing time. Right now, Tri-State Bobcat has the best pricing available on select previous model years, the Time Cutter and the Titan zero-turn mowers, ranging from 42 to 60-inch with discounts 10 to 20%. And while you're in there, if you like mowing fast, just for the heck of it, ask about the Titan MyRide suspension system. The whole seating platform floats. It's like riding on a flying carpet. It's so cool. If you obsess about your lawn, a Toro Zero Turn will make it perfect. Tri-State Bobcat can also get you into a Toro snow blower during the spring sale. Both the Toro Power Clear, and the Power Max 2, the two-stage blower, they're on sale. Best deals of the year right now. Be sure to tell them you're a GLer when you walk through the door. Any one of the Tri-State Bobcat locations, Burnsville, Little Canada, and Hudson, and all of the inventory right there at tristatebobcat.com.
Did you see where Mr. Values, Tim Walz, wants to, or the legislature and Walz, want to devote a great deal of money to the creation of a new department to handle a family leave program. And they would hire 400 people to administrate it.
400?
At $75 million bucks a year.
That's it? Only 400?
Wow.
Children 5 years old, 10 years old in this state, well, for a variety of reasons, don't stand a chance at a future in this state.
Nope.
It's getting systematically destroyed. So let's turn to this date in Minnesota history when things weren't this bad.
Okay, let's do it.
Only because they come to us all the way from the traveling Lymans in Marloth Park in Mpumalanga, South Africa at worldwidewaftage.com. It was on this day in 1819.
This day is March 27th.
President James Monroe appointed Lawrence Taliaferro as an Indian agent at St. Peter's, later called Mendota. Taliaferro moved his operations across the river to Fort St. Anthony, which later, of course, became Fort Snelling.
Got it.
On this day in 1905,
327 shizzle.
The aerial bridge spanning the Duluth Ship Canal carried its first passengers across the harbor inside a carriage suspended from the bridge's framework. The system would be replaced with a lift bridge in 1930.
Okay.
And on this day in 1912, the St. Olaf Choir, directed by F. Melius Christensen, gave the opening concert of its first tour at the First Baptist Church in Minneapolis.
That's pleasant.
And that St. Olaf Choir has been world famous ever since. So it's 101, 112.
Try not to do math.
No, it's old. It's over 100 years old.
It's got to be old.
That's right. Thank you, GLers.
Yeah. Thank you, GLers. Why didn't that come up yet? There it is. I found it, guys. You can quit looking for it. And if you found PodMN, you're going to realize that you have a whole library of podcasts that you can check out. So go to PodMN on your smartphone, and you will be all set and ready. Also, don't forget about the Town Council. You know that when you sign up for the Town Council, you get a free $10 gift card from Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Center?
You do?
Yes. So sign up, go to garagelogic.com. It's $100 a year or $10 a month. You pick the deal that you want. That's the Garage Logic Town Council. Swing over to YouTube and subscribe to Garage Logic on that YouTube channel. That's a pretty good deal as well. And you're going to be entertained. Trust me. That's all I got for you today, Chars.